Just the facts, ma'am.
The Elephant Man makeup took approximately 8 hours to apply. John Hurt would only film every other day to reduce the strain on the actor. Italian job actor Michael Caine has never secured a driver's license. In his movie, The Stranger, Orson Welles wanted Agnes Moorehead for the role, which was eventually played by Edward G. Robinson. The director of British slasher film Don't Open Till Christmas, Edward Purdom, was fired midway into production, which caused a massive inconvenience as he was also the leading man. Much of the production had to be rewritten and reshot to make up for his absence. In John Landis's vampire film, Innocent Blood, the word vampire is never used. In the New Zealand film director Peter Jackson's adult puppet movie Meet the Feebles, live rounds were used as the production could not source blanks. This character in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom that you never see in close-up is played by an uncredited Dan Aykroyd. Before filming began, Quentin Tarantino tried to quit the production of Four Rooms, but was convinced to stay by the other three directors, Alison Anders, Alexander Rockwell and Robert Rodriguez. The 1947 Christmas film Miracle on 34th Street was first released in May of that year, so not so high on the box office, no mention of Christmas was made in the advertisements. In The Wizard of Oz, the Scarecrow jumps position between these two shots. Dan Aykroyd has different coloured eyes and webbed toes. After shooting Crimes and Misdemeanors, Woody Allen decided to reshoot approximately 1/3 of the film, reducing Daryl Hannah's role down to a single scene and increasing Alan Alda's cameo to a full role. The original title for Star Wars A New Hope was going to be Adventures of Starkiller, as taken from the Journal of Wills, Saga 1, The Star Wars. In 2001 A Space Odyssey, this is the only shot directed by Stanley Kubrick which is not filmed on a soundstage. Chevy Chase was electrocuted on the set of Modern Problems. Eyewitnesses to the event thought he was joking, until he passed out. When Woody Allen completed Manhattan, he was so dissatisfied that he promised to make a movie for free as long as the studio promised not to release it. Fritz Corrado was originally set to star Mick Jagger in a supporting role. The production was delayed by Jason Robards becoming ill 6 weeks into filming, meaning the whole thing had to be reshot with a new actor. Jagger left in order to record a Rolling Stones album he was contractually obliged to make, and his character was written out of the script. Despite being the main protagonist and antagonist, Gary Oldman and Bruce Willis share no screen time in The Fifth Element. During the filming of Usual Suspects, Gabriel Byrne thought he was Kaiser Soze. Spies Like Us was made on the agreement that the studio also funded One More Saturday Night, written and starring Al Franken and Tom Davis. Once it was made, it was put into a single cinema with no advertising. Al Franken had to take to the streets with a loud hailer to drum up an audience. David Lynch was offered the chance to direct Return of the Jedi, which he declined. The Marlon Brando western, One-Eyed Jacks, was originally set to be directed by Stanley Kubrick before Brando took over the helm. The scene that takes place at the end of the original Fly movie had to be shot over and over as the two stars kept bursting into laughter every time they looked at the prop fly with the human face. Werner Herzog has never seen the original Bad Lieutenant movie, which his film, Bad Lieutenant Port of Call New Orleans, is a thematic remake of. Clint Eastwood's Man with No Name actually has a name. In Fistful of Dollars it is Joe, in A Few Dollars More it is Moncho, and in Good, the Bad and the Ugly it is Blondie. The costume person on the notorious So Bad It's Good film Troll 2 was the star of the Black Emanuelle series of movies, Laura Gemser. The trailer for Jean-Luc Godard's film Socialism is the entire film sped up to 1 minute and 10 seconds. Barbara Steele was only contracted to work a single day on the movie She-Beast, so the director Michael Reeves shot the entirety of her significant role in the span of 18 hours. Jan de Bont, cinematographer of the movie Raw, was one of the many crew members injured by the lions on set. He was mauled and required 120 stitches to sew his scalp back on. Director Robert Altman's son, Mike Altman, wrote the famous theme song to MASH. He only asked for a new guitar as payment, but his father insisted he got proper royalties for his work. As a result of the song being used for the opening titles of the MASH TV show, which is still in syndication, Mike Altman has made several times more than his father made on that film. The Honeymoon Killers was originally to be directed by Martin Scorsese, but he was fired 1 week into filming and replaced with writer Leonard Kastel. At the time the cabinet of Dr. Caligari was being filmed in 1920s Germany, electricity was rationed. So instead of using electric lights, they filmed the sets outside and artificially created the desired lighting by painting the shadows in place. The post-production for Vietnam War epic Apocalypse Now was so long that the editors only averaged 1.8 edits a day. Clint Eastwood became the oldest director to helm a feature film when he shot Juror No. 2 at the age of 94, breaking his own record after directing Cry Macho at the age of 91. The previous oldest director was Robert Altman, who directed Prairie Home Companion at the age of 90. While a young and struggling actor, Quentin Tarantino lied on his CV and said that he played one of the zombies in Dawn of the Dead. He does not. Derek Jarman's film Blue consists solely of a blue screen and off-camera voices. To make TikTok walk in Return to Oz, the gymnasts inside had to walk on their hands with their legs bent. Director cameo, director cameo, director cameo, director cameo, director cameo, director cameo. This pirate in Hook was played by Glenn Close in a fake beard. Before starring in Scenes from a Mall for Paul Mazursky, Woody Allen had never been inside a shopping mall. Burt Reynolds hated the movie Boogie Nights. After seeing a rough cut of the movie, he fired the agent who suggested he made it. He then went on to win a Golden Globe for his role. Jim Caviezel was struck by lightning while filming The Passion of the Christ. The melting face in Raiders of the Lost Ark was made from wax. Renfield, as played by Klaus Kinski, does not speak a single word in Jess Franco's Count Dracula. Crispin Glover, the original actor to play George McFly, is not in Back to the Future Part 2. A different actor is wearing prosthetics made from a mould of Glover's face on the first movie. Crispin Glover sued the production as it made it look like he was starring when he was not. He won the case. The writer of Taxi Driver, Paul Schrader, wrote a draft of the screenplay of Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Steven Spielberg hated it and decided to write it himself. Glenn Close wore the real Meemaws glasses for Hillbilly Elegy. The table tennis ball in Forrest Gump was added with CGI. The spec script for Cable Guy was sold for a then unprecedented $750,000, with a $250,000 bonus when the film got made. To date, it is the only script credited to Lou Holtz Jr. Director Eli Roth clashed with the studio over the production of Borderlands, Roth favouring an R-rated edit. The film was later completed without him and released as PG-13. The 2014 homelessness drama Shelter is dedicated to a couple who used to sleep rough outside the director's home. A musical number was filmed for Adam McKay's movie about Dick Cheney, Vice, but was removed during editing. Adolf Hitler reportedly saw Charlie Chaplin's satire The Great Dictator. Though his reaction was not recorded, he did ask to view it a second time. And the final fact is that you can support this channel with a one-off donation via Ko-Fi. There's a link in the description if you want it. If you like this sort of video, then why not leave me your favourite bit of movie trivia in the comments? Maybe I'll get to make another one. I'm Scott Kingsnorth and I'm making a movie.